dára púpọ̀ ẹ̀kọ́ ló láyé táwa yìí sẹ́ ẹ̀kọ́ dára púpọ̀ ẹ̀kọ́ ló láyé táwa yìí sẹ́ ẹ̀kọ́ ló ń gbé ní dẹni gíga ẹ̀kọ́ ló ń gbé ní dépò ọlá ẹ̀dàkúnyé ẹ̀yin òbí wa lẹ́bà lówó kẹjọ kẹtọ́ wa ẹ̀kọ́ ló ń gbé ní dẹni gíga ẹ̀kọ́ ló ń gbé ní dépò ọlá ẹ̀dàkúnyé ẹ̀yin òbí wa lẹ́bà lówó kẹjọ kẹtọ́ wa ẹ̀dàkúnyé ẹ̀yin òbí wa lẹ́bà lówó kẹjọ kẹtọ́ wa. Gba ẹ̀kọ́ ó dáni lójú pé yóò jìyà iṣẹ́ burúkú ni wọ́n ń ṣe tí wọ́n bá jáde wọ́n wá tún fọ́lé ẹ̀dàkúnyé ẹ̀yin òbí wa lẹ́bàá lówó kẹjọ kẹtọ́ wa iṣẹ́ burúkú ni wọ́n ń ṣe tí wọ́n bá jáde wọ́n wá tún fọ́lé ẹ̀dàkúnyé ẹ̀yin òbí wa lẹ́bàá lówó kẹjọ kẹtọ́ wa ẹ̀dàkúnyé ẹ̀yin òbí wa lẹ́bàá lówó kẹjọ kẹtọ́ wa.
Wisdom comes not from age, but from education and learning. With this quote from Anton Chekhov, I welcome you to another edition of this wonderful program on radio, Education Today. Education Today is a program that aims to call attention of the public to education matters as they affect the effective running of the educational system and the achievement of educational goals. Comes on air every Saturday from 3 o'clock to 4 p.m. West African time on this station, Lights Radio. I am OLUBUNMI KAZEEM. Our goal with this program is to inform, orientate, and entertain the society on education matters, address issues affecting the educational system, influence public opinion, and drive effective educational policy directions to guide the formulators and implementers. For your questions, comments, and contributions, you can send a message to us on Facebook via www.facebook.com/education today. www.facebook.com/education today. You can also reach us on Twitter. Our Twitter handle is @TheLightsRadio. Now it's called X, so you can reach us on X on @TheLightsRadio, Instagram Lights_radio, YouTube Lights_radio. You can also call or send a message to us via SMS or WhatsApp on the number 0809 738 4000. I'll take that again, 0809 738 4000. We'll go on a quick break. When we return, the program continues. Please stay with us. You are still on to Education Today on Lights Radio, and we are moving into the news segment, and here we have Nima Ibrahim with the news. Hello, Nima.
Hello, good afternoon, Mr. KAZEEM. Good afternoon, House.
All right, you're welcome. So let's have the news.
Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to the news on Education Today, reaching you live from Light Radio. I am Nima Ibrahim. First, the headlines. Blame supervisors for exam malpractices, NECO tells OLUBUNMI. Niger government constitutes committee to launch state education university. Federal government targets 10 million children for school feeding program. And now the details. The new Southwest Zonal Director of the National Examination Council, NECO, Deborah Fukop, on Thursday has attributed the problem of examination malpractices in Nigeria to the supervisors. She also said the supervisors, teachers, were the ones who compromised on integrity and not the council. Fukop made this known during a courtesy visit to the Olubadan of Ibadan land, Obalekan Balogun Ali Okumade II, at his Alarere residence in Ibadan, Oyo State, to announce a posting to the zone and to also seek collaboration with the traditional institution in any area that could enhance the body's operational efficiency in the region. Reports have it that Olubadan had earlier tasked NECO to critically look into the issue of examination malpractices which may stain the institution. Fukop, who thanked the monarch for the frank talk, said in her words, "We are conscious of our revered father's observation and we are not folding our arms because of the importance and strategic position we find ourselves. We cannot afford to fail the country," she said. There are enough mechanisms in place to check malpractices before, during, and after the examinations, but if and when those saddled with the responsibility at any of the stages compromise the system, we become helpless. Nevertheless, we are up and doing as we give sanctions to schools and individuals found culpable, as remarked by Your Imperial Majesty. In his remarks, the Olubadan noted that the strategic position occupied by the examination body as the gatekeepers for the higher institutions across the country conferred on it the need to wage war against the vice. The Lagos State Ministry for Basic and Secondary Education has charged teachers to conform their teaching practices to meet the demands of the rapidly changing educational landscape. The Commissioner for Basic and Secondary Education, Mr. Jamiu Ali Balogun, gave the charge on Wednesday at the opening ceremony of a capacity building program for public and private secondary school teachers. The capacity building program was in partnership with Casio SKLD Integrated Services Limited, and the theme was equipping educators with inquiry-based methodology and accuracy skills in the 21st century classroom, and was targeted at educating 1,200 teachers. Furthermore, Ali Balogun emphasized the need for teachers to adapt to the changing educational landscape as students were becoming more active in the learning process and as classrooms have become vibrant hubs of knowledge and innovation where students are not merely passive recipients of information but active participants in their own learning journeys. Earlier on, the Deputy Managing Director, SKLD Integrated Services Limited, Mr. Tayo Oshiyemi, said that the 5 years collaboration with the ministry had given birth to several initiatives, as he noted that the idea was to enhance the learning experiences of students through the training of teachers and the provision of educational resources at various levels. Niger State Governor Mohammed Umaru Bago has approved the constitution of the Implementation Committee to ensure the smooth takeoff of the newly licensed Niger State University of Education, Mina. A statement issued by Secretary to the State Government SSG Alhaji Abubakar Usman disclosed that the committee is to be chaired by Professor Mohammed Kutayaya of the University of Ibadan and former Secretary to the Government of Niger State, while the incumbent Secretary to the State Government serves as the co-chairman of the committee, and Dr. Abdul Usaini, Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Lands, is the Secretary. Members of the committee include Professor Rashid Aruno, Provost, Federal College of Education, Kontagora, Professor Yakubu Mohammed Auna, Provost, Niger State College of Education, Mina, Mohamed Dati Usman, former Registrar, Federal University of Technology, Mina, and others. It would be recalled that the National Universities Commission, NUC, recently granted a license to Governor Umaru Bago's administration to establish a new full-fledged state-owned university named the Niger State University of Education, Mina. This landmark achievement is in furtherance of the present administration's concerted efforts towards increased access to quality university education for Mina. Federal government has announced that the National Homegrown School Feeding Program, which will soon be resuscitated, will cater for over 10 million pupils across the country, adding that the school feeding program would ensure that no child in public school is left behind. The office of the Senior Special Assistant to the President of Nigeria on School Feeding, in a statement signed by Oyedokun Oyewumi, said the SSA Dr. Yetunde Adeniji gave the assurance during a visit to an IDP camp at the Transitional Learning Center, Wasa, Abuja. The presidential aide was at Wasa to inspect the school feeding program sponsored by non-governmental organizations Maple Leaf Early Years Foundation, in collaboration with the National Commission for Refugees, Migrants, and Internally Displaced Persons. Dr. Adeniji commended the program at Wasa for its demonstrable success in bolstering school enrollment and attendance rates. She said it is an instrumental force in the advancement of education, the alleviation of hunger, and the dismantling of the cycle of poverty, adding that the school feeding initiative under the President's Renewed Hope agenda is targeting pupils from primary 1 to 3 across Nigeria. Lastly, she called for more collaborations with relevant agencies while extending profound gratitude to NGOs like Plain, UNESCO, and various stakeholders who have contributed to the noble endeavor. That's all on the news for today, but before we go, a quick recap of the major stories. Blame supervisors for examination malpractices, NECO tells OLUBUNMI. Niger government constitutes committee to launch state education university. And federal government targets 10 million children for school feeding program. That's all for the news. It was compiled by Nima Ibrahim and edited by OLUBUNMI KAZEEM. Don't forget, for the coverage of your educational seminars, trainings, fairs, among others, you can reach us on 0702 507 4268, or you can send us an email via educationmediaservices@gmail.com. Thank you for listening.
That's all we can take on the news for today. Right now, we'll take the icon of the week segment, and here we have Said Aremo. Hello, Said.
Hi, Mr. KAZEEM.
All right, let's have the icon.
Okay. You are welcome to the Icon of the Week segment, where we consider the life and times of individuals that lived inspiring lives and contributed immensely to the educational development of our world. I am Said Olaruwaju Aremo. Our icon for this week is the great scientist Thomas Edison. Thomas Edison, born on February 11, 1847 in Milan, Ohio, USA, was an American inventor and businessman. He grew up in Port Huron, Michigan, where he conducted numerous experiments in his basement. Edison's passion for inventing led him to hold over 1,000 patents for his groundbreaking inventions. His most notable inventions include the practical electric light bulb, which revolutionized the way we illuminate our world. He also invented the phonograph, an early sound recording device that paved the way for modern music and audio recording. Edison's innovative spirit extended to other areas as well. He developed the motion picture camera, which laid the foundation for the film industry. Additionally, he created the alkaline storage battery, improving energy storage technology. Edison was a co-founder of the General Electric Company, one of the world's largest and most diversified industrial corporations. The company was founded in 1892 as a result of the merger of Edison General Electric Company and Thomson Houston Electric Company, and despite limited formal education, Edison's thirst for knowledge and his mother's teachings fueled his success. His inventions were driven by a desire to solve practical problems and improve people's lives. His inventions had a profound impact on modern life. His contributions to the field of electricity and lighting transformed the way people lived, worked, and communicated. He is often celebrated as an iconic American inventor. Thomas Edison's contributions to technology and innovation continue to impact our lives today. His relentless dedication and curiosity inspire us to embrace our own creativity and push the boundaries of what is possible. That's it today on the Icon of the Week. I am Saeed Aremo. Education Today continues. Please stay with us.
Ẹ̀dàkúnyé ẹ̀yin òbí wa, lẹ́bà lówó kẹjọ kẹtọ́ wa. Ẹ̀kọ́ ló ń gbé ní dẹni gíga, ẹ̀kọ́ ló ń gbé ní dépò ọlá. Ẹ̀dàkúnyé ẹ̀yin òbí wa, lẹ́bà lówó kẹjọ kẹtọ́ wa. Ẹ̀dàkúnyé ẹ̀yin òbí wa, lẹ́bà lówó kẹjọ kẹtọ́ wa.
That was the Icon of the Week segment. We celebrate the great scientist, the inventor, the brain behind the electric bulb, as we have today, Thomas Edison. Right now, we'll take the School in Focus segment, and we have Aisha Hussein. Hello, Aisha.
Hello, Mr. Khan.
All right, so let's have the School in Focus.
Good afternoon and welcome to the School in Focus segment, where we take a look at institutions of interest, provide a background to their establishment, their administration, and some notable alumni. I am Aisha Hussein. Our School in Focus today is the prestigious Ahmadu Bello University, Zaria, Kaduna State of Nigeria. Ahmadu Bello University, Abu, is a prestigious Nigerian university located in Zaria, Kaduna State. It is known for its academic excellence and offers a wide range of courses in various fields. Ahmadu Bello University, Abu, is one of Nigeria's largest and oldest universities, located in Zaria, Kaduna State. Established in 1962, it was named after Sir Ahmadu Bello, the first premier of the northern region of Nigeria. Abu is renowned for its academic excellence and contributions to higher education in Nigeria and beyond. Abu was established to serve as center of learning and research for the northern region of Nigeria. It was part of a broader effort to expand access to higher education in the country. Abu offers a wide range of undergraduate, postgraduate, and research programs in engineering, medicine, business, social sciences, and more. They have diverse sections of programs for students to choose from. Abu is known for its diverse student population, representing various ethnicities, cultures, and religious backgrounds. It is committed to fostering a multicultural and inclusive learning environment. Ahmadu Bello University has produced many successful alumni in various fields. Some notable ones include Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, who served as the Minister of Finance in Nigeria and is now the Director General of the World Trade Organization. Another notable alumni is Aliko Dangote, a billionaire businessman and philanthropist. These are just a few examples of the university's successful students. To gain admission to Ahmadu Bello University, you would typically need to meet the admission requirements set by the university. This usually involves taking the Joint Admission and Matriculation Board (JAMB) examination and meeting the minimum score required for your desired course. It is also important to keep an eye out for the university admission process and deadlines. I hope you've learned something. That is it on our School in Focus for today. I remain Aisha Hussein. Education Today continues in a moment. Please stay with us.
You're welcome back. The program is still Education Today on Light Radio, and we are moving into the discuss segment. And today we shall be taking a look at residency status and security risk exposure of higher institution students in Nigeria. I'll take that again. Residency status and the security risk exposure of tertiary institution students in Nigeria. As a kind of background, some weeks back, some students of Federal University, Gusau, Zamfara State, Nigeria, were kidnapped from their hostels, which is off campus, although very close to the campus, but it's all outside the university campus itself, and many of them were kidnapped by the bandits. Some were eventually rescued, while some still remain in captivity. Very close to us here, in Ogun State, some students of tertiary Tashila University of Education, Ijagun, Jabode, Ogun State, some students, female students, were raped in their hostels, and one of them, like we just got information, eventually committed suicide as a result of that. Now, these students were also found to actually stay off campus. Now, there have been stories of many students who stay around campus who actually don't live on campus, but who, one way or the other, have been exposed to different security risks. That does not mean that those on campus really don't have their own challenges. Some would complain of lack of access to water, the challenges of electricity, and the likes like that. Now, today we want to interrogate the security risk exposure of students, depending on whether or not they are on or off campus. And today, God willing, we have those who are in one tertiary institution or the other. One, I have Said Olaraja Remu, who is a student of the University of Lagos. The university has hostel facilities on campus, although with the current situation, that is not even enough. It's not even up to 50% of students that are actually staying on campus. Many of them stay in different hostels around the university area, but not exactly on the campus. We have some staying around Abuleoja, Iwaya, Koka, Makoko, Yaba, Bariga areas that surround the university. We also have Aisha Hussein here, who is an ex-student of Lagos State Polytechnic, and the Polytechnic also does not have hostel facilities for students. And we also have Nima Ibrahim, who is a student of National Open University. That actually is not even a residential based university. It is an open distance learning university operating on that mode, where students only come in, they write exams, and they go. So now, looking at this, so gentlemen and ladies, let's look at it. Does the residency status of students, whether they live on campus or off campus, does that necessarily predispose them to security risk? Probably, let me start with you, Side. Probably of those that are here now, you're the only one that you're a student of an institution that has hostel facilities readily for students. Although we might say originally, as at when the university was established, the hostel facilities were enough to cater for the student population. Mm-hmm. Now the enrollment has actually increased astronomically without a corresponding increase in hostel facilities.
In fact, there's been a decrease in hostel facilities.
Wow, a decrease in hostel facilities. So yes. How does that affect? Let us even start from there. How does that affect the accommodation of students on campus?
Actually, the challenge majorly has to do with availability of space. For many students, they will not be able to secure space in hostels, or maybe they have to cram themselves into the tiny spaces available. So you might actually see an hostel with a room with about sometimes as high as 16 members, occupants, yes, in one single room, depending on the size of the room, obviously. So then sometimes you have this this occupant, they sometimes big squatters too, and then we have people called floaters that they just come through the night, they sleep over, and the next day they'll go ahead with their businesses. So there has been this I don't know how to like describe it, but this pressure on the little bed spaces available, and that's just for those that cannot afford it, which like constitute the majority of the students' population. Then for others, most of them have to like seek for accommodation outside the school, like in the venues you mentioned, the areas you mentioned before, Abule Oja, Abule Jesha, Bariga, and the other areas here. Because the challenge now becomes the affordability of these external based hostels. A room, a room self-contained sometimes in Abule Oja can be as high as 700,000 or so, sometimes higher. So it becomes very, very difficult. However, for those that can afford it, they go for it, and for many that are unable to afford it, they still have to like come back to school. Some sleep in faculties, some sleep around inside the school, around inside school anyway. So that's just the challenges most students are facing regarding accommodation now.
Okay, problem is, let me ask you, being a student at University of Lagos, which do you prefer, staying on campus or off campus? Which would you prefer if given the opportunity?
Considering the current state of the university, or should I say of the hostels in the university, like I said, the facilities are
Overstretched.
Exactly. So they're having a lot of people, right? And students themselves are very terrible when it comes to like personal hygiene and other stuff. So the situation is very appalling. Like you can't most times bear them. I just prefer to be off campus the way it is right now. Right, then maybe over time, there's some new hostels being developed. Say hostels like Academy and Student India, for instance, now the way they let them out is like they are still exclusive in nature, in the sense that they're not actually available to general student population. So you have to like you bid for them in a way. You go to the DSA, then you try to like apply. Then based on certain criteria, they consider your application before they give you a bed space there. So ordinarily, those bed spaces
criteria that are involved in
they look at your level. For instance, now student India is only available for year one and final year students. So if you are anything in between, say second year, third year, or so, you are not eligible for those kind of hostels. Most times, I think that's the major thing they look at. Then I think officially, majorly that's the thing they look at. Maybe they look at your grade also in the university and all, but most times they just consider your level and how much you actually need that bed space. And once they discover that they might assign you the bed space, if you are able to afford it, then if you are not able to afford it, probably just be told to go and ballot or maybe find a squatting space with someone else that got a bed space. So those kind of hostels now, economy is still new. On those bases, they are like better managed. Right? So I can as a student
facility management arrangement for
actually, yeah. So I think I might still be able to like cope with those kind of hostels obviously. But then the general hostels like in Njoku that barely have bathrooms, functioning bathrooms, like then you have Bibaku like this close to a female hostel. You know, we hear stories and all. So personally I would just prefer to be off campus. Yeah.
Okay. Now, I probably let me come to Aisha. You went to Lagos State Polytechnic and it's all to be specific. That's it's all campus because of the nature of your course, mass communication. Now, was there hostel facilities?
Not at all.
Not at all. Why do you think probably a state institution like Plaspotech then did not have hostel facilities?
Well, I think because I did a part-time course and they were expecting people to just come from their home and go back.
For the full-time students, were there hostel facilities?
Not at all. They don't.
So how exactly do students cope with such courses, coming to school on a regular basis in the morning and probably leaving in the evening, preparing for assignment, preparing for exams? So they do that from home.
Yes. No, some persons like live around too because since there's no hostel facilities, some persons tend to come. Did you want to rent a room with some persons and then 5, 3, 7 as much as possible? According to how you can pay, because everybody has to pay for
your financial
space.
capacity.
Yes,
so that determines the quality of spaces that will be available
you get.
to you.
And the location too, because some still even stay far as
Ijigbo.
Yes. Every day.
Yes. Coming down to.
So that place is closer to Last Protect than some other
so
places.
the closer the accommodation to the institution,
the lesser the price.
The higher, the closer it is to the institution, the higher the price. Okay, and ceteris paribus. Okay, now so for you as a person, would you have preferred to stay would you have preferred that the institution had hostel facilities, or would you also prefer, at least with the experience of staying off campus, at least at your own convenience? So would you have preferred the hostel on campus or off campus?
I would have preferred the hostel campus, like
The
because
campus
I'll
hostels.
be there and I don't have to start going around and start looking for some. Everything I need is there. If I have to go to school, I just move from here and go there and.
Okay,
I
from
don't like to
class
be
and
stressed.
things like that.
Yes.
Okay, Nima, in your own case, your case is similar to hers, right?
Yes, because I once attended the same school.
Okay. Now that you're in National Open University of Nigeria, you don't have any business with hostel facilities, right?
Yes, well, I do not, but I know of cases of students that need to find a way and find a place to stay during examinations.
So how do they cope?
Well, they always have the option of squatting with friends or family, or I once saw I think estate management, some people needing students to rent their apartment for the examination period, although there are some pros and cons to such arrangements when the school is not actively involved.
Okay. So what are some of these challenges? Because that's where I want to go to. Being on campus, being off campus, I believe there are some other risks that are, open, to such, categories of students.
Okay, so getting specific about my current institution, I would say we've had cases of students missing. Yes, because especially that VI access, because the school was the headquarters for Lagos is at VI access. So we've had cases of students getting late to the exam hall, and on inquiring into their lateness, they tell us that they boarded the wrong bus, all this one chance and stuff like that. And we've also had cases of students, paying for apartments for the examination period, and some of them get duped, some of them get harassed and stuff like that. So I know that my own school is not a conventional university, but I mean it's not going to be a bad idea if they can arrange such accommodation, even if it will come with a price, a subsidized price at for that matter. But then
Managed
just
by
to
the
curb-
school also has opportunity
Yes.
to also make money, but at least you can guarantee the
yes,
security.
the
of students.
security.
Okay, probably let me come back to your side. For those of you now, you gave example of students cramming themselves in a very tiny space. Sometimes some of these rooms are actually cubicles, not up to a standard room. You have
Yes.
many students. You have now have categories of occupants in the rooms, right? So you have the
Bona fides.
landlords, bona
The real-
fide, and the
You have the
landlords.
squatters.
So you have the squatters, you have
You have the
floaters, like
floaters.
you have talked about. Now, does that not also predispose, occupants of that room to risks? Because in case of a floater who just comes in to just pass the night, probably along the line, okay, you guys are all asleep. Let me just, pick one. So, have you not had cases of probably, theft and other, challenges, in student,
In fact,
in hostels?
It's not a matter of hearing cases, right? That is the norm.
Norm.
Yeah, it's how it happens. So you might maybe spread your clothes, for instance. Then the next thing, not even the next day, the next thing, you'll find out that it is already gone. And it happens not just with clothes. People steal shoes, they steal food.
Gadgets.
Yeah.
Food.
You'll be able to trace to anyone. So these are stories that you just hear and you begin to wonder, like, okay, even if I wanted to like leave my own space, I'm not like actually being incentivized to stay in school campus with all of these stories that you guys are telling me. So this is just like,
And
these
you
are
also
just-
painted the case of probably even the whole, toilet facilities or some of our utilities in the,
Exactly.
hostels.
yeah, so
Now, does that not
Dispose
predispose
students to, like, diseases and or-
and epidemics and the likes like that?
and it's funny considering the fact that like students like to paint themselves as
Elite. Classy people.
yeah, I'm not supposed to be like shaming my school. Anyway, it is what it is, right? So we have these facilities that are congested, the bathrooms, there are no kitchens, even the
So how do
dorm
students
rooms.
cook? Or are they not expected to cook?
I think most times what they do is they provide a space in that your same bedroom, your bedroom, right, where you can place your stove, your
On
But is it
campus.
official?
No, I heard it's not official.
Because I learned that.
Because
it's
I have friends that stay on campus, and I heard that it's actually like an offense. They must not get caught. So I think they provide kitchens. It's just that the kitchen is it can contain limited
number of
stoves.
places
Yes,
to
Exactly.
yes.
So you're trying to
So they
like, use
sneak.
one kitchen
The
to
potters
serve
all-
like an entire
all
dome,
the
so
stuff.
it becomes a problem.
becomes a problem.
Yeah.
So how realistic then is this idea that okay, you have students staying on campus and they can't even cook?
Yes, they're not
what they get?
comfortable.
Most times, what they do is they go
They
outside
go out
to
to
eat.
buy,
Yeah, so they just go
Somebody
out
from
to
here, but
So
they
who
and the
then-
students like they get creative with the way they eat their food. they just like
Yeah,
mix
creative
stuff
and
together. Yeah, and
economical.
No, you see, I'm also looking at this. Is there any quality assurance mechanism for probably even all those canteens on campus to be sure that what they dispense or what they sell to students actually meets hygiene criteria?
it's funny. One day I was looking at Yamura's restaurant and I saw that she got like an award for the best restaurant on campus. Apparently, she was satisfied. Like,
Certified by
yeah.
the medical center?
yeah, the cooking made hygienic. Like they were very very hygienic. So she got an award for that. Up until that moment, I had no idea because personally I've been at many restaurants in school. Not once I did actually occurred that people from quality assurance came to check how the food looked like or so. Not like they were necessarily cooking terrible or bad news, but yeah. But I
That
just
is just that impression that
There are some
we
people
say have people
checking,
that
yes.
check
Yeah.
what goes on here.
So,
well, probably
up to-
okay. That's a very very good one. At least one way or the other. You know that if you're staying on campus and you're eating on campus,
Yeah,
when it comes to hygiene, some people are responsible.
actually
It's just probably the hostels that might really not meet the taste of the student. All right, probably Aisha, coming to you now. In your own case, you stayed off campus, and like the scenario you painted, where different people can say, okay, if you're actually seeking accommodation, you can bring money, and okay, we have 3, 4, 5 different people. Okay, can you guys manage this so that all of you will stay in this room, or probably it's just bed spaces that are actually being sold. So if you are lucky, the kind of people that you are probably paired together. So now, looking at the fact that you don't decide who lives with you, especially in some of these spaces where it is the bed space that you get to pay for, not the room entirely belongs to you. In a case where probably I just want to rent an apartment, even if it's just a room self-contained, or probably just a normal room, I know I'm renting the room. But in this case, we've had cases where students that live off campus, what they are told to pay for is actually bed space. So you don't determine your hostel mates or bunk mates or what have you. Now, is that in itself not also a risk? Because we had situations where people get pair with probably those who are even cultists, or those who are probably involved in some wholesome activities, drug addicts and things like that, one way or the other. So such people get exposed to some of these vices. So did you probably hear of stories among your colleagues probably who got paired up in some of these off-campus hostels with such characters of people? Or
No, not that I know, but some persons will just come together when we're in our year one, like 3 or 5 persons, because we're all desperate. I'm still stressed. We don't want to like get tired to get home and all of those, and so we just pack themselves, and after like 3 months you'll be like, no, this person I don't like, and then start looking for some other persons. You have already paid, but you don't mind going somewhere else,
leaving that money for
or
going
better
back.
yet, as you explained the other time, that there are some owners, there are some floaters, there are some, so they have all of those people too with them, because
Even for
my
off-campus
friend-
hostels.
yes,
yes.
of course. So I have a friend that stayed with some persons, she got it through her kind of elder sister, and then some persons came with their friends, and they're all just very much, and every morning if you go there, you'll be like, what's going on here? They're always fighting. I don't
All
know.
right. Okay. So, in all of this, as Nigerian students, does this occur to us that probably it's not a norm or is an abnormal situation, or we feel like probably that's just a normal thing? That's what makes us who we are. As unique people, we are amenable to different situations. So, if you can survive a Nigerian tertiary institution, then you can survive anywhere else in the world. Is that part of probably what builds our resilience as Nigerians, or just that we're actually accepting the abnormality as the norm?
we are accepting the abnormality as the norm because it's stressful.
What do you think, sir?
Well, our educational system generally is, to be sincere, in my own opinion, is very rigged. Like, in the sense that even getting through it, hostel aside now, accommodation aside, I mean, so even getting through the regular educational system, you went to, say, you start from primary school, then you actually went to the university, and you went, like, some students actually consider it an achievement on its own because it's extremely difficult. You have to deal with different kinds of characters. You have to survive so many things. So then what happens is once you are done from here, you probably go to another class, you tend to experience the way things are supposed to be. But now what happens most times is that people tend to become like, wow, so this is life. Like, I'm just experiencing life now. I've been suffering since. So I like to think of our accommodation system similarly. It wasn't that way at first, but population grows. Universities have to they have to take in more students. Then it turns out that the facilities they eventually built, they did not actually, how should I put it? They did not add to them to cater for the growing population.
The facilities to accommodate the increased student enrollment.
Yeah, so then it happens students have to survive through these harsh realities, just this difficult situation. Then when they finish, most of them actually get the chance to go abroad. They have this room to themselves most times, or maybe they also still have to share, but maybe now they have to share with just one other person rather than having to share with 15 other people. And then you notice that at that place there is more emphasis on your hygiene. You have to ensure that you pay attention to what you eat, what you take in, and even movement. Right? Okay, you are not allowed to move.
The arrangement is even there. You know where probably you get your ticket, and there is a bus that probably convey you from one place to another. So it's not just that you hire one cab or you
exactly,
and which can actually predispose. Like the case of the one Nima painted that we talk about, where students probably can get missing and things like that. So probably let me come to you, Nima. Now that we have considered some of those things, and for the fact that, like she said, it's an abnormal situation. But unfortunately, Nigerians have come to accept the abnormality as the norm. So, what do you think we need to do to improve the situation? Because I'm trying to imagine. I'm trying to play devil's advocate. Let's assume probably the government does not know. What do you think we need to do to improve the situation? Because I don't want to believe that we don't know these things happen. So, what do you think probably the institutions can do, and what do you think probably the government itself can do? Because I'm trying to also look at it. The cost of accommodation, even around the communities, where these schools are situated, the members of the community, some of them are always, aggressive with the students because they feel like you guys have actually come to worsen, the accommodation situation, in our community, where the cost of living, the cost of, accommodation has just, gone up, astronomically. And at the end of it, even they themselves can no longer afford. Just because these, students have actually come, to seek accommodation, and because the institutions don't have these spaces to accommodate their students. So, what do you think the institutions can do, and what do you think the government can do? And probably you would also give us ideas or what you think the government should do, because I'm trying to look at some of this risk. Look at the case of, those ladies that were raped, those TASUET students that were raped for no fault of theirs. Because I'm sure probably that might not happen if they were to be resident on campus. Or what do you think, Said? Probably will come to you. But then what do you think these just need to do better?
Okay. For starters, talking about my own institution now, I think that the school management needs to run a more inclusive system of education, especially because the only time students come to school and come to the study center, in my own cases, during examinations, that's when they come in their numbers. So the school can arrange, sorts of apartments for students. It will come with a price they will pay. Rather than, because I cannot imagine leaving the home, telling my parents that I'm off to write exam, and then the next thing is they get a call from the school that, so the school needs to do better in running this inclusive system for the. And then this semester now, when someone was advertising bed space and room for rent on the group chat. I think one of the admins, I think he's a staff, he went further by chatting the student up and telling him to, asking the necessary questions. That is also the way to go. Then for the conventional universities, I think the same thing needs to be done, because the school cannot just have students come to the school and not know their whereabouts. I think that level of responsibility at least should be placed on the school. It's not just about their adults so they can make any decisions. You need to know where your students are, because at the end of the day, if anything happens, they're coming back to the school to hold. If it is a parent of a prominent parent of a student, they will come back to hold the school responsible. So to be 4-1 is for and a stitch in time saves 9. So I think that they need to be more responsible about the school the students' safety and well-being, which includes their accommodation.
All right, so it's not a case of, well, after all, the person is not staying on campus.
Yeah,
because you must account for all students, be it that they are resident on campus or off campus.
We have violence taking place on campus too. We have the case of bullying and all this cultism forcing them. So it's not about whether on campus or off campus. It's a thing of the mind. The school has to have it in their mind that the well-being, the safety
of the students matter.
is matter.
And it's part of what they must be ready.
Yes, they should be responsible for it.
Okay, good. So, Sai, now, in this case now, like she said, we also have cases of bullying and what have you, taking place in the hostels. So what do you think needs to be done? Because I'm trying to imagine a situation where probably a student has an exam for 9 o'clock in the morning and got stuck probably on the way coming.
Many cases like that. Countless.
That the student will probably even miss the exam or get late to the exam hall because of, traffic, and they'll tell you it's because you left home late and things. I said I have left for long, but something happened on the road and I could not make it and things like that. But a lot of times
nobody wants to listen.
Nobody will gives that they tell you that you should have come a bit earlier because you have exam and things like sleep in school when there is no accommodation.
They do give that kind of advice every time, like find somewhere and stay, squat with your friends and
squat with your friend, and at the end of the day tell you squatting is illegal.
Yes.
That can actually earn you expulsion from the hostel.
Yes.
So, what do you think? Because your own school, you have accommodation on campus.
Yeah, I think it's two ways. The first would be we have most of these largest masses of land that are still undeveloped in schools. You begin to wonder what are those spaces actually for.
I
believe
they'll tell you the institute has a master plan, and that is not actually, the hostel is not part of what they plan to probably erect in some of those places.
But the primary responsibility of the university is to serve students, I believe. So
exactly.
I think that should take priority. If you have more of your students maybe facing being exposed to challenges outside, it's just
you can't even concentrate.
It just becomes like something to do for you to we have to cater to the needs of the students, right? So that's the first one. The school must be ready to spend, like she said, they must be ready to spend on that particular course. We have to ensure that we provide accommodation for
They'll tell you they don't have money, and you guys will not even allow them to increase to as much as they would like to charge.
It does not have to be sourced. Okay, I think I would like to give a scenario. The academy hall that UNILAG recently constructed, from what I heard, I don't know.
So it's a private arrangement.
Exactly. So something like that can be done. Maybe the university can, and I think this is how it is in many universities abroad. So they receive donations, funds from private organizations, companies, and all, and it's almost like sort of mutual arrangement. Both sides benefit. Maybe the private organization will probably take the money for a little while, and after that, it becomes the university's property.
Yeah, a build, operate, transfer model where in private investment. So it's a case of the university should be able to attract a lot of investment in that area. Because it's actually something that is very much needed. And it's something that one way or the other, for those that need it, they will eventually pay for it.
Yes.
Exactly. So
because I know for some of these hostels, the ones that you won't call the new ones,
yes,
they're not even available because they've all been oversubscribed.
They're not available. People actually are paying for them.
Because now some are even paying more than that outside. So if the university is now charging them for that, and they know that probably they get water, they get electricity, they'll be able to actually access their classroom, go to probably libraries, go for overnight reading, and return to their hostels. At least they know they're on campus. That sense of security that is guaranteed compared to probably outside, where you know that if there is no power supply, you're OYO. Things like that. I don't know, but now you talked about BOT, investment, for some of these lands that are just lying fallow.
Exactly.
Now you want to talk about another thing because you said probably two.
Yeah, there are two. He said one day I got curious about how universities abroad run their own systems, particularly Oxford, and I discovered that what they do, which in I believe is trying to model, is they have colleges rather than one main campus. They have several colleges across London. So you have a college. That's at that college you receive your lectures, you do your exam and all. And honestly, I don't think anything's actually stopping us from doing this thing. I know in Lag has the Akoka main campus. There's a College of Medicine. Then there's the Araba. So
radiography and things like that. Probably also move some faculties to that particular place, so that at the end of it, the faculty and the hostel accommodation, every other thing is in that place, and we know you belong to this particular hall. Something they call it hall. Yeah, they might say something like this hall, and that is where you receive all your lectures and every other thing like that.
Exactly. So you good that way your hostel will be. So you finish your lectures, you don't have to go outside. Your hostel will be dead, and
because I know, for instance, some University of Lagos students are probably resident at radiography.
A lot of students are actually resident at radiography.
And now imagine the transport costs.
Having to come from here but down to Akoka here. So
and the traffic. And this instead of people would also prepare for exams.
So this I'm telling you.
And you probably get to penalize them for coming late for exams.
Exactly. And at the same time, you still mark them you failed and all. So it's just a cycle of viciousness, if you ask me.
Yes, it is indeed.
So what advice do you have for institutions and government? Because for state institutions now, it's as if probably there is a grand rule that state institutions you should not have hostels. The story is the same for TASWED, for OOU, for LASU, for some of these state universities or tertiary institutions generally, including polytechnics and colleges of education. It's like the idea is if it's a state institution, it should be non-residential. Probably I'll do more studies on that to find out why exactly, if for state institutions, is there a policy somewhere that they must not be residential? Because I'm trying to imagine that a majority of these institutions you live off campus, and a lot of times
all of them have space,
yes,
unused spaces.
What they want to use it for.
So what advice do you have for this institution?
I'll just advise the institution to maybe seek help for the government, or like I said, they should just find investors to build hostels, conducive one for students, because if it's not conducive too, we can't even live there.
Is it a crime that we have institutions with hostel spaces even more than the number of students?
It's not a crime at all. It's not a crime at all.
Because I know that there's a university in Ghana that has more spaces that can accommodate. See, they've already thought ahead, and they have these spaces that could accommodate them. So they've already looked forward for the next 40 years. Yes. That by the time, if the student population grows up to this particular extent, for the next 40 years, we have spaces that will accommodate all of them.
That's great.
Sincerely, that's very welcome idea.
So at the end of the day, even for now, you can actually even have some other arena. You can host conferences, you can host seminars, host different conventions and things like that, and people make use of some of these hostels because even though and they pay.
Another source of income.
Ordinarily, guest houses and so many other things like that. But it is what it is. Nigeria, here we are. So I'll probably, on a final note, I'll just add my thoughts to this for the fact that the security of our students is very, very paramount. Their safety, their well-being. Because I'm trying to imagine these students in these schools, they pay for medical, care and things like that. Now imagine if there is an emergency while you are off campus. How do you get to the campus?
I was thinking along that line. Some
now,
students have never enjoyed any, privileges on campus. Talk about the medical facilities. Yes, and they
pay
yes.
Yes.
So it shouldn't be so.
Now imagine if there is such emergency at night.
I want that too.
Go to chemists.
No.
There was a case of a student that died. I think it was this week. I read it on a group, and it's a real story. The lady died due to wrong administration of injection by the pharmacist. Well, the person is not qualified to be called a pharmacist, but the chemist was operating right inside the school school environment. Yes,
wow.
And I think it was chloroquine. Wrong administration. The lady was rushed. The next point was, they found the lady at the mortuary, declared dead. Wow. People were called. right inside the school. Now talk about someone that
Now
doesn't
all
have,
campus.
yes, totally off campus.
So who do you put the responsibility, such a blame on,
Exactly.
or who do you blame? So well, it's all about that. Well, I just hope that the policymakers are actually listening. So that's why we bring some of these things to the front burner. It's not because probably we want to denigrate anybody or want to run down any institution or want to abuse or throw jabs at probably those in authority. It's just a way of calling attention, and that's what we do on this program, Education Today. Let us bring some of these issues affecting education to the front burner so that probably those who are supposed to take charge will do the needful. And we hope that they have listened. So that has been, our discuss segment. Many thanks to all my crew members who actually, provided insights into the discussion for today. Let me see if at all we have comments, online. So we have, different people that have actually joined us, and some have sent in their comments. I have this from Talkata Joker Data saying, including Lasus Tech, there is a land to hostels, but students are required to stay off campus because of the inability of the school to provide hostels on campus. That's why hostels are very costly off campus around Ikorodu. Now, that's just Ikorodu. And if you say the hostel accommodation off campus is very expensive at Ikorodu, I'm trying to imagine now you talk about Abule Jesha. See, I just spoke to a student this afternoon, and he said there is one that goes for as much as 900,000 naira.
Probably be room self-contained.
The amount is even the one that brings students together, because even if you don't have the space,
And
just
seriously,
bring the money
that
to put
amount,
together.
actually, she said it's actually for bed space.
100k.
Yes, I said, is there gold inside that?
I
He said
don't- I
no.
want
And
that.
well, the only thing there is AC and there is TV.
And there's POP. That's one of the things that
POP
drives
is actually
students.
luxury. Most of them
Yes,
have
so
POPs.
there's a
So
POP.
most don't even have. So they tell you that there is a look at AC, air conditioner, and there is a
Comfortable.
television.
This is
So
comfortable.
yeah, so at least you won't have that in your normal hostel on campus. So 900,000 naira, almost a million naira. Because by the time you also add some of the agency fees,
Yes.
automatically it's more than that. It's more than a million naira per student.
How?
And that's why,
how?
see, let me tell you,
School
see, these are the
fees
things
and
that the
every other
authorities
thing.
listen to, and they will tell you that you guys say these students cannot pay.
Pay.
But then a lot of people will talk about, comfort and things like that. So, so like Talkas is saying, if the school can provide hostels for students, I guess it will really help a lot. So we hope, So Zena Alabi, thank you very much, and Omota Kofrola, well done. Thank you for all those who have sent in their comments and those who have actually liked our page. So please, would also advise that you keep that coming. So let us have more of your comments and your likes, and please help us share this far and wide so that the authorities can actually listen to it. So that's all we can take on the discuss segment. As we go, let's just take these words on the marble. And this time around we have from Jim Ron. We're actually repeating this because we feel like it's very, very important. Now, according to Jim Ron, formal education will make you a living, self-education will make you a fortune. Wow. So even as much as you go to school, know that the schooling enough can actually give you what you want. It's actually how well you've been able to educate yourself. So self-education will make you a fortune. So let's try as much as possible that we educate ourselves individually. So not everything will be taught in class, and you need to go beyond what is taught in class and what you do in class. So one needs to imbibe the lessons and put them to personal practice in our daily lives beyond passing examinations. All right, so that's how far we can take on the program for today. This is just to inform you, our same listeners, that you can also advertise your products and services and also showcase your events on our program. This you can do by calling the number 070 2507 4268 070 2507 4268. Thank you very much for joining us today on the program Education Today. Let us know how you feel about today's program through our various platforms. You can also reach out to us on Facebook, www.facebook.com/education today. You can also send an email to educationmediaservices@gmail.com, educationmediaservices@gmail.com. Many thanks to the entire crew of Education Today and the management of Lights Radio, especially the proprietor of this station, His Royal Highness Oba Abdul Ghani Awokoya. We thank you very much, sir, for providing us this platform for us to reach out to the members of the audience. All right, so I will thank MC Vibes and TYs as well as Faye who have been in the control room, making this possible. Many thanks to you guys. Thumbs up to you. Thank you very much. So do join us same time next week for a refreshing package of the program. Till then, I remain OLUBUNMI KAZEEM, and I have
Aisha Hussein.
Arem Said.
Nima Ibrahim.
all right. See you next week, and goodbye.
Bye.